Have you ever thought about how America was invented? I'm not talking about who discovered it first. We know indigenous peoples were here for thousands of years. I mean, who came up with the idea of America itself? It's a fascinating story that goes way beyond Columbus stumbling upon a new world. Let's rewind to the late 15th century. Europe was buzzing with new ideas, trade, and a thirst for exploration. The world, to them, was Europe, Asia, and Africa. So when Christopher Columbus landed in the Bahamas in 1492, he didn't think he'd found a new continent. He was convinced he had reached the East Indies. He called the native people Indians for that exact reason, a name that stuck for centuries. But then, a few years later, another Italian explorer came along, a man named Amerigo Vespucci. After his own voyages along the coast of what we now call South America, he wrote some very popular letters. He argued that this landmass was not Asia, but a completely separate continent, a mundus novus or New World. A German mapmaker named Martin Waldseemar was so impressed by Vespucci's claim that in 1507, when he created a New World map, he decided to name this new continent America in his honor. And just like that, the name was born and printed on maps for all of Europe to see. So the land got a name, but the idea of America was still being shaped. At first, it was a land of fantasy and opportunity for Europeans, a place to find gold, spread Christianity, or escape persecution. But for the millions of indigenous people already living here, this invention was an invasion. It brought disease, war, and the systematic destruction of their societies and cultures. Their world wasn't being invented. It was being violently dismantled. Then came the colonial period. 13 separate British colonies, each with its own identity. A Virginian was different from a Massachusetts Puritan. They didn't see themselves as Americans yet. They were British subjects living across the ocean. What united them? It wasn't a shared culture, but a shared frustration with British rule. Taxes, lack of representation, these were the sparks that lit the fire. This is where the next big invention happened, the American identity. Thinkers like Thomas Paine, with his pamphlet Common Sense, argued passionately for independence. He helped convince people from Georgia to New Hampshire that they weren't just colonists, they were something new, Americans. They were building a nation based not on a shared ancestry or ancient history, but on shared ideals, liberty, self-governance, and the pursuit of happiness. The Declaration of Independence in 1776 was the ultimate mission statement. It declared to the world that these colonies were now a new nation, the United States of America. But even then, the invention wasn't complete. The phrase, "all men are created equal," was a powerful ideal, but it didn't apply to everyone. Slavery was a brutal reality for hundreds of thousands of African Americans, and women were denied basic rights. The American experiment was, and still is, a work in progress. The Civil War was a bloody battle over the very definition of the nation. Was it a union of states or a single nation, indivisible? And would it be a nation that lived up to its promise of freedom for all? The abolition of slavery was a monumental step. But the struggle for true equality continued with the civil rights movement a century later. At the same time, the idea of America was being reinvented by waves of immigrants. The Irish, the Germans, the Italians, the Chinese, and people from every corner of the globe came seeking a better life. They brought their own cultures, foods, and traditions, weaving them into the American fabric. The melting pot became a popular metaphor, suggesting everyone would blend into a single new culture. Later, people preferred the idea of a salad bowl or a mosaic, where different cultures coexist while retaining their unique identities. Each wave of immigration has challenged and redefined what it means to be an American. Think about the American dream, the belief that anyone, regardless of their background, can achieve success through hard work. This is perhaps one of the most powerful and enduring parts of America's invention. It's an idea that has drawn millions to its shores and has fueled innovation and ambition. But it's also an idea that has been criticized. For many, systemic barriers and inequality make the dream feel out of reach, highlighting the gap between the American ideal and its reality. Even the physical landscape of America was part of its invention. The idea of Manifest destiny in the 19th century, the belief that Americans were destined to expand across the continent was a powerful narrative. It justified westward expansion, but it also meant the forced removal of Native American tribes from their ancestral lands. The creation of national parks, like Yellowstone and Yosemite, helped invent the idea of the American wilderness of pristine, untouched nature, even though these lands had been managed and inhabited by indigenous peoples for millennia. So when we talk about the invention of America, we're talking about a complex and ongoing process. It's a story written on maps and declarations, through wars, and in the lives of millions of people. It's a brand, a promise, and a constant debate. From Amerigo Vespucci giving the continent a name to the founding fathers, drafting a nation based on ideals, to civil rights activists demanding those ideals be met, to immigrants continually reshaping its culture, America has been invented and reinvented time and time again. It's not a finished product. The story is still being written by everyone who lives here, and understanding that America is an invention, an idea, helps us see that we all have a role in shaping what it will become next. It's a powerful thought, isn't it? Thanks so much for watching. If you found this journey through history interesting, please give this video a like and subscribe for more deep dives into the ideas that shape our world. See you next time.